On Monday morning for me, and I am just getting ready to go to the gym to get ready for a good cardio session this morning. And I want to come on just quickly, guys, to give you guys some things that I've learned now over my last 16 years of trading, and some things that I do behind the scenes when it comes to my trading. Here's the thing, guys. I did a video yesterday saying like you guys can become good traders, you guys can do well from trading, etc., etc., etc. Right? So I did all that sort of stuff on yesterday's video. Now, here's one thing that's really important to you as you board in your trading. The market goes up, the market goes down. You know, we have these big blow off tops, right? We have these crashes, we have these pullbacks, we have corrections, we have slow movements, we have sideways periods, we have breakouts, and so on and so forth. But here's the number one thing that you must learn as a trader in the markets. If you're trading, not investing, investing is different, right? Investing is buying, holding for the next 3, 4, 5 years. If you're trading the markets, the number one thing that every successful trader has is they have pattern recognition. And all that simply means is that what sort of patterns do you believe in that when they appear on the charts, you're like, oh, this has a good win-loss ratio. This has a very good probability of doing well for me. I'm going to trade this pattern. See, whatever pattern that is for you, that's where I want you to start this week. All right, that's where I want you to start this, or that's where I want you to be this week. Pattern recognition. And for me, guys, I have my trading pattern, and what I do, and what I did yesterday, which was Sunday for me, is that I go over these patterns again and again and again. Right, I go over these trades again and again and again, like literally dozens and dozens and hundreds of trades that I've taken over my trading career. And I go over that again and again and again and again to build that pattern recognition into my brain. Because that's all trading really is, right? Trading really is waiting for patterns to appear on the charts and then trading those patterns. So whatever pattern that is for you, you know, like what pattern, I can't say that right. What pattern for you is the thing that's going to help you move forward, because that's the only way to move forward, right? In the markets. And so it's all about pattern recognition. If you are trading on the seat of your pants, like, oh, well, I'm going to buy now because I think it's going to go down, or I'm going to buy now because I think it's going to go up, or I'm going to short the market now because I think it's going to go down. Well, we can see, right? We can see when in that process there, we're just guessing. See, what successful traders do, we don't guess. We say, okay, here's a pattern that has just formed on the charts. And within this pattern, it has a win-loss ratio. So I'm going to take this because this has a good probability of doing well for me. See, and that's where it's all about, right? It's all about having these pattern recognitions in the market. So my challenge to you is that find a pattern, find something that you believe in, right? Because if you want to start building that foundation of you moving forward, then it's all about having that pattern. And once you start to see these patterns, and it's really a trading system, right? But once you start to trade patterns that, hey Jim, how you going, mate? Once you have these patterns, that's what you need to follow, right? Because there is no, if you're trying to get rich quick out of these markets, you have only got a few $1,000s and you're trying to throw the whole lot at one trade, trying to make a lot of money, it is going to blow up on you 100% of the time. I guarantee it. That is not the way they go. But in the long term, maybe over the next 12 months, 2 years, 5 years, you can grow that account into something really substantial. Makes sense? So the success in the journey of trading is never about, well, I think the market's going to go up today, so I buy. And that's always been the biggest thing for me when actually doing my personal trading. Is that I have done so badly. You know, when I first started trading 16 years ago, my first 5 years, I didn't really understand this concept. And it wasn't until I started meeting some private millionaire mentors that listened. He said, John, you're all over the place. He said, John, I'm not smart. I'm not smart. I'm not smarter than you. He said the only difference between me and you, and he makes, 8 figures from the markets, um, which is like, $7 to $10 million a year, probably more. He said is that I just have the consistency and the discipline to wait for certain setups to appear on the charts. That's the only difference is really when it comes back down to me and you. And he said, and then over years, I've just gotten better and better and better at staying at those patterns. And so I want to encourage you with that. If you're serious about this thing called trading and entering this beast called trading, please, firstly, is like, what sort of setups are you looking for? And if there's no, if you go through this whole week and you're looking through the stocks and you're looking through the markets, maybe trading intraday charts as well, I don't know, and you don't find that setup or that pattern that you're looking for, then just don't trade. It's not worth it. You're only going to go backwards. You're only going to lose money. It's just not worth it. Wait for those setups. They say, you know what, this has a good win-loss ratio. And so from that, you know, from having that, that's where that's how we build that foundation. Make sense, guys? And so this is the thing out there. It's like we're always after that sort of, here's the slimmest money, so let's put it in the markets, let's make a lot of money. Let's hope we can jump on the next, the next game, the GameStop or the next big coin, the next Bitcoin or type of whatever. We want to jump on those sort of things, right? But do you realize GameStop was going up for a couple of months, slowly stepping up for a couple of months, and then had the blow off move? Most people are not willing to stand. Most people are not willing to stand. Be patient through those stair steps when it comes to that. So I want you to build yourself, and I know this is hard for most guys, because sometimes us men, especially, we have to learn the lesson ourselves, don't we? And the lesson, what I'm talking about here is that, the more that I follow certain patterns in my life, and that's, in trading, the better I do. The more that I deviate from that plan, the worse I do. And that's the only differences, guys. So if we can start to build some sort of foundation behind what we're looking for there, you can start to, like, oh, wow, I can, like, wow, I can do well from this thing. I could generate 50 grand a year from this thing, maybe trading a couple of hours a day. And if I could do that 50 grand a year, maybe the next following year I could do 60 grand or I could do 6 figures from this thing, if in a couple of years time frame. I might only be starting with a $5,000 trading account right now, but if I stick to this thing and start to get better at trading these patterns that I believe in and not throwing all my money at one thing, because that's the worst thing you can do, guys. And it's always, every single time, guys, I promise you, every single time I have thrown a boatload of money, a big, large percent of my account in one trade, it has never worked out. Never worked out. Because I'm focusing on the money, right? And that's always the hardest thing, because we are trading to make money. But when we focus on the money, right, and when we focus on those, we're trying to make a lot of money really quickly, we load up really quickly, but we end up getting into stuff that doesn't meet our pattern, right? Meet our rules. So I want to come on today, guys, to get you ready for the week. If you don't have a setup that you're looking for, like a pattern, that's all it is, right? It's a pattern. If you don't have a pattern you're looking for, then that's where you need to start, right? Don't be trading these markets based on what I say and these market updates that I do and all these other market updates that people do out there and so on and so forth. Don't be entering the market based on that. And above all, guys, the road to success in the markets is not a certainty in any particular trade, because the tier level of success in trading is tier level 1 is you have your pattern. Tier level 2 is that you trade that pattern, and it has a win-loss ratio. So therefore, tier level 3 is, okay, this particular trade could be part of the loss in the loss ratio. This is the biggest thing that sort of changed my paradigm around the markets, is that I was always hoping to be right. I was always trying to make a lot of money really, really quickly. And what I realized was that I was stopping myself from making my long-term gains from trying to jump on things really, really quickly. And then when I had a losing trade or something like that, it's like, oh, this system didn't work, and I'd jump all over the place. But the thing is that the nature of the beast of these markets is that you have patterns. The patterns have a win-loss ratio. That means sometimes when you get into trades, the trade you're about to get into today could be part of that loss ratio. What are you doing to protect yourself? That's all. What are you doing to protect yourself? Because every single time I get into a trade, I'm saying, okay, then if this is a losing trade, what am I doing to protect myself? If my next 4 or 5 trades are losses, what am I doing to protect myself? And that's how you win at this game called trading. And if you can start to be consistent at taking, you have your pattern and say that pattern has a 70% win-loss ratio, that means you have to take that pattern no matter what you think 20 times in a row. Every single time that pattern appears, exactly what it looks like. Take that. That's always hard, right? Because sometimes those patterns don't turn up for a week. Sometimes they, and that's always the hardest thing, right? Because it's firstly, we don't wait for those things to set up. Then the second thing is that when it comes to trading, we load up too much money on our account trying to make money on this trade, and then when it's not, we're like, oh, I'm a loser, I can't make money from this thing. It's like, no, it's just the way we think about it, right? Like, for you to be a good trader in the markets, we must understand the nature of the beast, and that is, once again, having patterns. The pattern has a win-loss ratio, whatever it is for you, on average, and that means you've got some trades are going to be losses. You don't know which ones, but most will be profits depending on your system. Even if you had a 50-50 win-loss ratio, you still can do well. So that's what I wanted to come on to today, guys. And I hope that you get what I'm saying here. Just to quickly recap, the nature of the beast of the markets is not what you think. Okay. Yes, it's manipulated. Yes, there's short sellers. Yes, there's da. But the market is going to continue to produce patterns that have win-loss ratios. And if you can just stick to that pattern 100% of the time, that's always the hard part, right? Over, say, 20 trades, you're like, oh my goodness, this thing has 60% loss ratio, and my average profit is 80% if you're trading options, right? If you just buy options, oh my goodness, my average profit's 80% and my average loss is 30%. Oh my goodness. And I'm having a 60% loss ratio. I'm making money. Let's keep going. And that's what it comes down to. Where we go wrong is something different than what I just said there. We go trade other things that we just like a once-off. We go do other things that's just a once-off. And then we try to pick the top, or we try to jump on something to make a lot of money really quickly, and that's where we end up failing there. So, the biggest thing, guys, is always have small risk on your account, and never load 100% of your account on one position, because that's just crazy. And I've just learned that lesson so many times myself, and even every now and then, still to this day, I'll load up a much bigger position size, not 100%, but a much bigger position size on trades, and they never, ever, ever work out for me. Now, thankfully, I don't do that. I maybe do that once a year, and I'm talking about 20% of my account. Normally, I'm only 5% of my account is on any position. So anyway, guys, I'm off to the markets I'm off to the gym, and then I'll come back, and then I'll get a market update done for you guys, and let's get started. Let's get focused on the markets this week. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.